Once upon a time, in a quaint little town, there lived a poor shoemaker named Peter and his wife Anna. They were simple people, honest and hardworking. Peter worked from morning till night, yet he earned so little that most days they hardly had enough food to eat. One evening, Peter sat at his small wooden table. He looked at the last piece of leather in his shop. With a heavy heart, he cut the leather to make one final pair of shoes. Peter softly said to himself, "This is all I have left." He placed the cut leather on the table, whispered a small prayer, and went to bed with Anna by his side. The next morning, something magical had happened. The leather Peter had cut was no longer lying on the table. Instead, there stood a pair of shoes. Beautiful shoes sewn with such skill that Peter had never seen anything like them before. He was astonished. The stitches were perfect, the leather shone as if polished by sunlight, and the shape of the shoes was flawless. At that very moment, a merchant passed by and saw the shoes. He bought them immediately, paying a good price. Peter was overjoyed. With the money, he bought leather for 2 more pairs of shoes. That night, he cut the pieces and left them on the table once again. When morning came, Peter rushed to his workshop. To his amazement, the leather had once again been turned into shoes. 2 fine pairs this time, each more perfect than the first. Day after day, this miracle continued. Whatever leather Peter prepared at night, he found turned into finished shoes by morning. Customers loved the shoes and paid well for them. Slowly, Peter and Anna began to leave their poverty behind. Their shop grew busier, their table was full of food, and their hearts were filled with gratitude. One evening, Anna spoke gently, "My dear Peter, let us stay awake tonight and see who makes these shoes." So, they hid behind a curtain, waiting quietly. The night was still. The moonlight touched the window, and the clock struck midnight. Suddenly, 2 tiny figures slipped into the room. They were elves, small, nimble, and dressed in ragged old clothes. Their name was Fin and Lime. The shoemaker and his wife watched in silence as the elves sat at the table. Their little fingers moved quickly, stitching, hammering, and shaping the leather with joy. In no time, the shoes were ready. Then, laughing softly, disappeared into the night. Peter and Anna were deeply touched by the kindness of Fin and Lime. They noticed the elves wore clothes that were old and torn. Anna said to her husband, "They have done so much for us. Let us make something for them." So she took her finest cloth and sewed 2 little shirts, coats, and trousers. Peter, with his skilled hands, made 2 pairs of small, sturdy shoes. Together, they wrapped the gifts with love. That night, instead of leather, they placed the gifts on the table and hid once more behind the curtain. At midnight, the elves appeared. They jumped onto the table and looked around. Instead of leather, they found the tiny cloths and shoes waiting for them. Their eyes sparkled with joy. Fin said in excitement, "Look, Lime, new clothes for us." Lime laughed and said, "And shoes too. How wonderful." They quickly put on the shirts and trousers, buttoned the coats, pulled on the stockings, and slipped their feet into the little shoes. Then they clapped their hands and danced with delight around the workshop. Finn said, "Now we are dressed so fine." Lime also said, "No more work for us, brother, we are free." The elves sang and danced until dawn, and then, with a leap and a thrill, they disappeared into the night. Peter and Anna never saw them again. Though Finn and Lime never returned, Peter and Anna felt no sadness. They were grateful for the kindness they have received. Peter worked honestly, making fine shoes with his own hands. His shop never lacked customers, and soon he and Anna were known throughout the town, not only for the quality of their shoes, but also for their generosity. Whenever they saw someone in need, they remembered Finn and Liam, and they offered help, just as they themselves had once been helped. And so, the little workshop became a place of happiness, kindness, and love.